What's up, guys? This is Tomas Ramirez from Positive Gains Training, and we are officially in a new month in 2024. So I was trying to find some topic of ideas on what to do and trying to have my podcast planned out. I haven't got to the details of exactly what I want to do each week, but I know the main topic for this month is going to be nutrition, as as March is the month of National Nutrition. So we're going to talk about nutrition in today's video on impact beyond the weights. We're going to talk about just the basics of nutrition and kind of give you guys some pointers and just some pro tips on just the very basics of just the macros and the mindset and the meals that go behind all that. So, I just want to make this very simple. If you guys would like to see more detail about the specific areas or any specific questions that you guys may have, please feel free to let me know in the comments, as I love to give you content that's valuable to you and what you guys want to know. It helps me to sharpen up my tools. It also helps me to learn maybe things that I've forgotten. And again, just helps me stay on my toes. And I definitely appreciate you guys for watching. So with that being said, last month in February, we did 3 things that are hindering your fitness progress, specifically when it came to fat loss. Again, this month, we are going to highlight nutrition and talk about the basics. So be looking out for that. Let me know some ideas again on what you would like to see. So as always, I have a PowerPoint that I created to help us stay professional and to keep it a little bit more entertaining for you guys. So today's topic is going to be fundamentals of nutrition. I label this as the 3M's. And you guys can see that the 3M's I'm referring to is mindset, your macros, and meals. So again, disclaimer, we're not getting super in depth with this. We can if you guys want to see more video content on that, but again, we're just going to go very broad and give you guys some pointers on how to be the best when it comes to this. All right. So as always, is the last episode we did, we had a quote. Today's quote, I know you guys can't see. Let's see if I change my view. All right. So today's quote is, "When diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is of no need." So this is an Ayurvedic proverb. I'm not exactly sure 100% what Ayurvedic is, but this is a proverb. I want to give credit where credit's due. So the reason why I personally like this quote is because no amount of medicine is going to fix a bad diet. My perspective, no amount of medicine is going to fix a bad diet. My wife and I were just talking about this the other day. It's like people take these supplements, and there's no judgment, but people take these supplements or these pills, and they are going completely contrary to what they're even taking those pills for in the first place. So in this case, she was talking about how this lady was on blood pressure pills, to kind of help balance out her sodium. Meanwhile, she was in the hospital and she was ordering fast food, which is high in sodium. So the very thing that she's in the hospital for, she was feeding it while she was taking pills for the thing that's trying to combat what she's doing. So that's why I like this quote. Specifically stuck out to me. It's just like, no, when your diet is wrong, medicine is no use. It's not going to help you. When your diet is correct, medicine's no need. You don't need it. Thank God I'm healthy. I don't have to take any type of medicines, and I want to keep it that way for as long as I can. So that's today's quote, or the quote for this series. All right, so some personal background. So if you guys don't know about me, so I have right here lack of knowledge / too much noise. In 2020, I say more like the end of 2019, I really started to become infatuated with just nutrition. I've been working out myself since I was 14 years old. So I've been doing this for some years now, but it's like I really, as a trainer, want to step my game up. I don't think I know it all. I don't know it all. And I'm not claiming to be the most #1 trainer. What I do know is that I do give my best, and I constantly try to keep myself educated, and I constantly serve people how I would want somebody to serve me. So in 2020, I was like, you know what? I'm learning a lot of information from YouTube. But the thing I'm sure most of us can agree is that this person's contradicting this person, and that person's contradicting that person. And it's just like, what's so confusing? So like, what do I do? And I wanted to learn it all for myself. Like, I wanted the absolute facts, science-based stuff. So what I did in 2020 when COVID was happening was I enrolled in different programs. One of them, probably my favorite one, is called NCI, which is the Nutritional Coaching Institute, ran by Jason Phillips. I enrolled myself into that program. Very detailed, very hands-on, which is what I like. I'm a very hands-on learner. You can tell me 1,000,001 times on how to do something, but until I actually do it myself, I don't really completely comprehend it. So I enrolled myself in that. Huge blessing. Learned so much about tactics, and not just about nutrition, but how to apply it, which is very important in our field. Like, just because this trainer can train themselves doesn't mean that they can train you. So that's why I never like to show off my body. I like to show off results. I like to show off clients, because you guys aren't paying me to train me. You're paying me to get you where you want to be, right? So 2020, I enrolled myself in that. 2021, through my personal training certification company, they offer nutrition as well. So I took that, passed it, and that's how I'm officially certified in nutrition coaching. And then another one I took, I don't remember if this was 2021 as well, or I think it might have been, but I have a lot of female clients, and I'm a male. I don't know what it feels like to be a female. I don't know the physiology, but I know it's different. So I took a class called Women Are Not Small Men. And this was basically a physiological breakdown of the differences between women and their training. What happens to women's bodies physiologically during their menstrual cycle, before their menstrual cycle, best nutrition approaches to implement, before, after, during. And it was really, really helpful. One of my favorite courses, ran by Dr. Stacy Sims. And I definitely do have no regrets on taking that. And it's helped me become that much of a better trainer, because I know more about women's bodies than they do. And that's what's crazy. Okay, so a disclaimer, I am not a registered dietitian by any means. I did not go to college. I do not have a 4-year degree in nutrition or anything like that. I'm not a registered dietitian. So I want to make that known. Okay, I don't want no false hopes of like, oh, he's going to deliver. I'm going to give you the absolute truth on what I know. I'm not trying to confuse anybody. Again, I'm trying to give you guys the truth, because I was a truth seeker, and I'll still seek the truth when it comes to nutrition and all the noise and this and that. Okay, so number one thing that we're going to look at, like I said, is the 3M's, and that's mindset. So if you guys watch my first series, I always do breakdowns of words, because I like words. I like to know the understanding, the comprehension, and to use them in proper context, which I think is very, very important. So according to Webster's dictionary, mindset is a mental attitude or inclination. So it's a mental attitude towards something. That's your mindset. And then I came across this image over here, and I thought it was perfect. So you see there's two different mindsets here. We have the growth mindset, and then we have the fixed mindset. Let's take a look at the fixed mindset first and try to identify yourself. Just be honest with yourself. Like, which one are you really? Maybe it's not specifically into nutrition and health. Maybe it's just overall. Like, what would you identify yourself as if you're completely honest? So on the fixed mindset, we'll start there first. So in quotes, this person is, failure is the limit of my abilities. Okay, another one is, I'm either good at it or I'm not. So there's no in between. There's no need of practicing it, because I'm either going to be good at it or I'm not going to be good at it. They don't really, again, there's no growth. There's no in between there. There's no potential for them to try to see if they can become better. It's just either I'm good or I'm not. My abilities are unchanging. So again, it's that defeated mindset. Like, it doesn't matter. I've been trying this for years. It's never going to work type of deal, right? I don't like to be challenged. So if you don't like to be challenged, you don't like to grow, right? I can either do it or I can't. So again, that's that all or nothing approach. This is kind of how I view it. My potential is predetermined. When I'm frustrated, I just give up. So again, there's a lot of that all or nothing in there. It's either I'm 100% in it or I'm not at all, or, this or that. Okay, feedback and criticisms are personal. So that's a whole nother topic. I don't want, again, there's no judgment here, but those people that take criticisms very personal, like this is a personal attack, like you're just a horrible person. No one's saying that. We all have flaws. And sometimes it takes someone to point them out, like, hey, maybe if you did this, or maybe if you did that, instead of taking things so personally, you sit back and think like, okay, I'm open to receive what you're telling me. Okay, obviously it also depends on the tone of voice and the approach of the person. So that fixed mindset is kind of that all or nothing, that give up. If I can't do it now, I'm not going to do it later type of deal. Now let's look at the growth mindset. So failure is an opportunity to grow. I like that quote. Failure is an opportunity to grow. So it's not just when you fail and that's it, just give up. It's like, you know what, I'm going to learn from my failure and I'm going to do better the next time. Okay. I can learn to do anything I want. So that statement that we all heard, you know, you can do anything you put your mind to, kind of relates to that. Challenges help me grow. So the other person said, where is it at? I don't like to be challenged, but this person's like, challenges help me to grow. I like challenges, and that's something that I implemented in my training with my clients. Is I started implementing weekly challenges. But hey, tell me your struggles, and then they told me their struggles, and I said, all right, this is a challenge for the week, because of trying to make you guys better, trying to form a different mindset, trying to form some victories, trying to build that momentum, as I always say. My effort and attitudes determine my abilities. We'll talk more about that. Feedback is constructive. The biggest one, I like to try new things. Trying new things can be cool. Let me know if you're one of those people that's like change tears you up on the inside. Whether that's changing a restaurant, your favorite restaurant, or trying something new, like change is just hard for you. Let me know in the comments. All right, so there we go. We got our two mindsets. We got the growth mindset and we got the fixed mindset. So mindsets, again, this is all my personal opinion. Mindsets to break. Number one is the good food versus the bad food. So again, I looked up the definition. Food, by definition, is any nutritious substance that people or animals eat or drink or that plants absorb in order to maintain life and growth. Okay, so there's not really anything good or bad. Food is something that helps us to maintain life or grow. Okay, that's the purpose of food, is to maintain our life or to grow. So I have a question to ask you. The question is the food choices that I'm about to make, so in this case, I'm just reading it, is the food choices I'm about to make going to benefit me? So think about that when you eat. So again, the biggest part, that's why I put mindset first, is how you view things. Perspective is everything. So if your perspective is food is just an enjoyment, like I just eat whatever I want to because I'm raised in America and I can go to the fast food restaurants as much as I want to, whenever I want to, or are you a person who lives in a whole nother country where it's like fast food is unheard of? Fast food, the nearest one's about 30 miles up the road, you know, so I got to eat what I have. Like, this is food to me. Okay, so it's all about your perspective. And food, again, the definition is it's a substance to maintain life or growth. So when you're eating, think about what you're eating. Like, is what I'm eating truly benefiting me? Like, is it going to help me to be better? So that's why I have here. Is it going to help my energy? Is what I'm eating going to help my mood? Is it going to help my physique goals? So physique goals mean like how you want to look. And is it going to help my overall health? If your answer to most of those are no, then maybe you should try switching up your choices, you know? So focusing on that, like, if I eat this, how is this going to benefit me? Sure, I'm not omitting that, you know, enjoy yourself at times. You know, you're out at family functions or celebrating a birthday or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying to not eat foods that you enjoy, not by any means, but like you can also make foods that you enjoy more nutritious, more helpful for your growth and your development. Okay, so there has to have that balance there. And again, that's why I like this question that I pose here is like, is what you're about to eat beneficial to you in the long run? Okay, most of us will say that we don't have the energy that we need for the day. We rely a lot on coffee or we rely on, you know, energy drinks or whatever the case may be. But it's like, well, how's your food quality? Is what you're eating beneficial? Is it giving you the energy that you need? Okay, is it influencing your mood? So a lot of things to think about there. So not the good food versus bad foods. Okay, is the food that I'm eating going to benefit me? All right. Number two, mindsets to break. I have to give up or I can't have. So this is in quotes. We've all heard it before, especially trainers. I have to give this up or I can't have. Okay, so that's a negative mindset. Anything that you go into thinking negatively about. So like, man, if I give up that, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. First and foremost, as your trainer, as your coach, I'm not telling you what you can and can't do. This is your program. These are your results. You're a grown adult. Okay, so you can do whatever you want to do, but ultimately it comes down to how much do you want it? Sure, but it comes down to replacing, or I'm choosing to. So that's why I have on the next point is verbiage. It's not I have to give this up or I can't have this. It's I'm replacing this that is less nutrients, less nutritious for me, not as good for me, and I'm replacing it with something that's better for me. Okay, so I relate a lot of this to my Christian walk. It's like when you give up something that you know is harming you or not beneficial for you, and you replace it with something else that is beneficial for you, it enhances your life. It makes you a better person. Okay, that's a better attitude. It's not that you're giving up. You can do whatever you want to do. Right now, you can go to Taco Bell or you can go whatever you want to. But because what you want is more beneficial for you, is more valuable to you, it's like I'm not giving this up. I'm just replacing it. Okay, it's not that you can't have it. I'm just replacing it. Or the other verbiage is I'm choosing to. It's a choice every single day. All my married people, I say amen. It's a choice every single day to be faithful, to be committed. You are making that choice. Do you always feel like it? Let's be honest. No, you don't always feel like it. But you made the choice and you're choosing to stick to your vow. You're choosing to stick to your word that, hey, I'm going to do this. So it's not that I can't. It's not that I'm giving up. It's that I'm replacing to make better, or I'm making this choice to be fully committed into it. Okay, choose a starting point would be my next tip. Choose a starting point. Like, I'm going to start this right here. And it doesn't always have to be something immaculate. Like we always, again, that fixed mindset. It's either all or nothing, and there's no wiggle room in between. So choose a starting point. So this could be a specific day, and this could be a specific thing, maybe for you. So I don't personally drink coffee. Shout out to the Grinch. Okay, still got the Christmas mug out in March. I'm drinking tea. So I put minty tea in here with an immune boost tea. Okay, I'm drinking tea. It helps give me a little bit of caffeine to give me a little pick me up to do this video. But again, it's a healthier choice. And that's what I'm choosing to do. I choose to cut out my pre-workout that usually would have 200 milligrams of caffeine in it. I'm choosing to cut that stuff out because I know it's not good for me overall. So I'm choosing to replace this with tea. Okay, so that's my starting point. I gave up the caffeine and the high caffeine pre-workouts, and I use this. Okay, so it's a starting point for me. Maybe your starting point is something even smaller. I'm gonna drink 20 ounces of water, just water, every single day. Does that mean you can't have anything else? No, but you're choosing every day to have 20 ounces of water, something small. And then have an end date / check-in date. So like what this means is like, okay, I'm gonna start this. This is what I'm gonna do for 2 weeks. There you go. You got a starting point and you have an ending point. I'm gonna give myself 2 weeks to do this, and I'm gonna see how committed I can be. And then you'll see that, okay, it was easier. I've already completed 2 weeks. I might as well go another week. I can do 3 weeks. I already done 3 weeks. I think I can do a whole month. Guess what? Those 2 weeks turn into 3 weeks. Those 3 weeks turn into a month. That month turned into 6 weeks. It's that just building the momentum that I keep talking about. Okay, so that's why I have there a few days. Maybe your end date is just a day. I'm gonna go 3 days without sugar. That means sugar substitutes, whatever. I'm gonna give up sugar completely as best as I can. 3 days and just see how I feel. See if I can even do it. See, so you're finding something feasible and you're trying. Don't be scared to try. Okay, so it's not giving up. It's not that you can't have, because you can do whatever you want to do, especially if you're an adult. It's I'm replacing or I'm choosing. So your verbiage and what you say to yourself is just as important. All right. Mindset number 3, this last one. Perfectionist / all or nothing. So we kind of already dabbled a little bit. This is how I kind of viewed the fixed mindset person, was like the perfectionist / all or nothing. So an example, well, I already messed up today, so I might as well just cheat the whole day and start again on Monday, right? Man, I already had this. I might as well just eat whatever I want for the rest of the day, and I'll start again tomorrow, or I'll start again on Monday. Since today's Friday while I'm filming this, I'll start again on Monday, and I'll just cheat this whole weekend, get out of my system. Then I'll come back Monday, and I'll be ready then. Monday comes, you start off pretty good, then dinner comes and you fall, and you're like, well, I just start again on Tuesday. Tuesday comes, you do good for breakfast, you go out to McDonald's for lunch. Like, man, I'll start again on Wednesday. And again, you just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. There's no wiggle room. It's either I'm going to do this or I'm not, right? So I like the all when it's in the positive. It's like, I'm all into doing this on 100%, but I don't like the all when it's the bad part, when it's the failure, because then you fail all the way too. Okay. So my pro tip for that is practice makes progress. I didn't say practice makes perfect, because nobody's perfect. Practice makes progress. So as I've been stressing all throughout this video, build some momentum. Choose one thing. One thing. I challenge you right now. Maybe it's on your mind right now. You've been thinking about it since we started this video. You're going to choose one thing. You're going to be 100% committed to it with a starting point and an ending point. That could just be a couple days. It could be a week, 2 weeks, a whole month. Find something. Next part, you're going to give yourself some grace. So what does that mean? That means that you're not going to be so hard on yourself. You're practicing something. So the first season of my baseball career, I sucked. I rolled the bench, couldn't hit the ball for nothing. Next season, I got better. I kept practicing. The next season after that, I was starting pitcher and I was playing third base. So it took me 3 seasons to finally get to where I wanted to. But if I would have quit that first season, I would have never knew what my potential would be. It's the same thing with this, same thing with nutrition. You need to practice. You need to find something and master it. That's the problem with constantly changing things up. You never master anything. So choose something, give yourself grace, be patient. It's going to take some time. You will fail. So have a plan what you're going to do. Okay, I messed up, but this doesn't mean that in the beginning of the example, all right, I messed up. I cheated. I had this for lunch, but you know what? I'm going to keep my dinner strong. I'm not just going to, all right, I cheated for lunch. I might as well just cheat the whole rest of the day, start again tomorrow. No, you're still staying firm to your goal. You're still choosing to get back up. Okay, so that's why I love this proverb from King Solomon. Proverbs 24:16. For a righteous man may fall 7 times and rise again. 7 times and rise again. But one disaster is enough to overthrow the wicked. So what does that mean? That man fell 7 times. That righteous man, he was trying his best to do what he knew he should, but he fell 7 times. But he always got back up. That one man, all it took is one incident and he was done. He was like, I can't do this. Okay, so be like that righteous man. Get back up. So I think this is a beautiful illustration. So I personally think this starts with the performance. So if we started with the performance, the reason why I'm choosing performance in this is because your performance is going to be based on your attitude. So if your attitude is that all or nothing, oh man, I fail, I give up, this isn't for me type of deal, then you're never going to get to the, well, you will get to the behavior, but the behavior will be negative, right? Your attitude was, I can't do this. Your behavior is, you're right, you can't, so you don't show up. The action, I guess action is you don't show up. Your results are none. Performance, 0. Right? So it's like a vicious cycle. Again, perspective is everything. So what your attitude is going in is going to reflect everything else. So if you have a positive attitude, I can do this. I'm going to practice. I'm going to give myself some grace. I'm sticking 100% to this. That's going to influence your behavior. Like I said, that one instance where he's like, you know what? I cheated for lunch. I might as well cheat the rest of the day. I might as well cheat the rest of this weekend, start again on Monday. It's like, there is no more of that. It's okay. I messed up this once. I cheated this once. Dinner, I'm going to stick back. I'm going to get right back to it. Tomorrow, Saturday, I'm going to get right back to it. I'm going to keep focused on what I had planned. Sunday, I'm going to keep focused on what I had planned. It wasn't no more, I messed up once, I'm going to cheat the whole week and I'll come back to it Monday. Nope. So that influenced your behavior. Your behavior came into your action. Like, this is what I'm doing. Nope. Hey, don't call me up, Sally. I'm not going out to eat or drinks with you because I'm choosing to be committed. It's not that I can't. It's just that I'm just choosing to. Okay, then your results start to come in. Like, man, I'm so glad I didn't go out when they called me to go out. I'm so glad I stuck true despite how hard it was. I've seen these results. And then guess what? Your performance increases because now you're starting to see the fruits of your labor type of deal. So take note of this. I think this is a beautiful illustration. So those are the mindsets. Now let's get into the macronutrients. All right. So macronutrients, short term is macros. So when people talk about macros, they're talking about macronutrients, which are specifically your proteins, your fats, and your carbs. Forgot to put alcohol on this part, but I do have it mentioned below. But alcohol is also a macronutrient. Okay, so some basics. Again, very basic. If you want more details, let me know. So some calorie breakdowns. In protein, there's 4 calories per 1 gram of protein. Okay, and carbs, same thing, 4 calories per 1 gram of carb. Fats, there's 9 calories in 1 gram of fat. Okay, all this is estimated. It's about point something, but just overall. In alcohol, there's 7 calories in 1 gram of alcohol. Very straightforward. Screenshot that. Take some notes if you want to. Okay. So proteins, starting off with each one individually. Proteins, these are made up of smaller molecules called amino acids. Okay, so right now I'm in my house. So say that this house is an overall 1 molecule of protein, but my house is made of brick. So each brick is an amino acid. So the amino acids are making up the house, but the house itself is the protein. Okay, so there's 9 essential. When you see essential, that means that the body does not make it. That means you have to eat food to get it. Okay, so there's 9 essential amino acids. Excuse me. There's a whole bunch of amino acids, but only 9 of them, about 9 of them, you have to get from your diet. Okay, so some benefits of having protein. I'm about to have you guys increase your protein. Like, you'll be looking forward to eating more meat and stuff like that. Unless you're vegan, then you'll be looking forward to, more protein shakes. So some benefits of more protein is it controls your hunger. It makes you feel fuller, right? It increases / maintains your muscle mass. So the reason why I have the distinction is that you have to be in a calorie surplus to increase muscle mass. So if you're cutting or losing weight, you're in a calorie deficit. You're not building muscle. You're just maintaining what you already had. And it's just, you're trying to make it show more. Okay, so that's the difference. That's why I said increase or maintain. It reduces cravings and snacking. Again, it helps you to be more satiated, so you don't snack as much. It increases your metabolism / fat burning. So it actually takes your body a lot more energy to digest protein. So just digesting a lot of protein is a natural fat burner all by itself. And it aids with your cell repair. So when we're in the gym, we're breaking down our muscle cells, we're breaking down those fibers. That's why it's so important after your workout and even before to consume some protein, because that's going to help with your recovery and to build up what you just tore down. So some big benefits from protein. So hopefully this inspires you to eat more protein. As my ladies, I know it's very, very difficult. So I guess a pro tip in that is just build yourself up. Have a starting point. Like, I'm going to start with 90 grams every single day. Okay, this became easier after 2 weeks. I'm going to go up to 100 grams. I'm going to try this for another week, see how I feel. All right, I'm going to go up to 110 grams. So again, you're building yourself up. You're starting to get your body accustomed instead of just jumping all in. That fixed mindset. Okay, I need to get 150 grams. Bam, every day. You don't do it. By day 2, you're super bloated. You're like, man, this sucks. I don't want to do this no more. Then you give up. Again, you didn't have the growth mindset. You had the fixed mindset. That's why I started with that first. Okay, so carbs, 2 different ones. There's complex and there's simple carbs. Okay, so your basic sugars, like your table sugars, the processed sugars, all the stuff you find in your cookies and your cakes and all that stuff, those are simple carbs. Okay, your complex are your starches, your fibrous carbs, right? So like your oats, sweet potatoes, fruits. Those are more, some fruits can be more of the sugary, simple ones. There's a lot of debate about that. But again, if it's God-given to me, I view it as better than just table sugar. Okay, so complex, simple. Always want to aim for more of the complex, obviously. But simple sugars do play their part. And it's definitely more so towards your post-workout meal. You definitely want to have a little bit higher of the simple because it just digests faster. Raises insulin a little bit more, which insulin helps you to get the protein to your muscle molecules, which we just talked about. So some benefits of complex, I should have specified, of complex. It's the body's primary source of fuel. I guess it's not just complex. I guess why I didn't specify. So it's the body's primary source of fuel. Okay, all my keto people, all my low carb people, yes, your body can function off of ketosis. It takes a lot of work to get into ketosis, but carbs is your body's primary source of fuel. There's no ifs, there's no ands about it. Do some people do better with higher carbs than lower carbs? Absolutely. I'm not saying that either, but carbs is your body's primary source of fuel. As soon as it's introduced into your mouth and down, that's what your body's going to be using. Okay, it's lower in calories. So again, as mentioned on other slides, 4 calories for 1 gram. It's quickly and easily digested for the most part. It's one of the most simplest things to digest from the body because again, it's the primary source of fuel. Okay, and the biggest one is it's the king of recovery for hard training. So if you're doing high intensity training very vigorously, very consistently through your week, you're doing oh my gosh, CrossFit, kings, carbs are the king of recovery. Okay, you can do low carb if you want to, you can still perform well, but your recovery is going to hinder, and give it a couple weeks, you'll be burnt out, you'll be injured, your joints are gonna be hurting. Why? Because carbs are the king to recovery, especially for high intensity training. So those hard, heavy, high endurance training sessions, carbs are the king for your recovery. And of course, the last one is their tasting. Who don't really enjoy carbs? Whether that's eating rice, pasta, breads. Some people don't, and that's cool, but I think most of us enjoy some type of carbohydrate in our diet. Okay, fats. So basically 2 types as well. Fats have saturated, which means that they are solid at room temperature. And fats are also unsaturated, which means that they are liquid, and these would tend to be the more healthier versions. So for the unsaturated, you probably see this on the nutrition label. It says monounsaturated, polyunsaturated. And of course, we have our omega-3s. There's more than just omega-3s. There's omega-6s, omega-9s, but omega-3s is the healthiest one. Okay, and then of course, the other one's trans fat. So this is the most dangerous. This is what you'll find at your fast food restaurants. Why they clogs your arteries, right, is because of the trans fat in it. Little pro tip, it's kind of scary. I'm sure most of us love Doritos, but Doritos actually have trans fat in it. But because they have such a small amount, this is how shiesty stuff is, I'm just going to say. Because it has such a small amount, they don't have to put that onto the nutrition label. I think it's like a half of a gram. So because it's not a full gram, they don't have to list it onto the nutrition label, even though it does have about a half a gram in them. Okay, do what you want with that information, but just shiesty. All right, so some benefits of unsaturated fat is it lowers your cholesterol. So this is, again, the good cholesterol. It improves your heart health. Okay, that's why like people take fish oil, stuff like that. It lowers inflammation. Probably the most common and beneficial one is the omega-3 for lowering inflammation, because most of us, if you're American, you eat omega fats in a 16-to-1 ratio. So that means you eat about 16 grams, we'll say, of omega-6s, which is the inflammatory ones, to 1 gram of anti-inflammatory omega-3s. That's why I like the Mediterranean diet with all the fish and seafood is usually the more healthier one, because they have a lot of omega-3s in it, not so many omega-6s. Okay, and then if you go out to eat all the time consistently, a lot of omega-6s, a lot of inflammation, a lot of just fake food. And then of course, fats help with the hormone production. So that's why when I'm doing like a cutting phase, or just making a plan for a client, I always start to lower carbs before I lower the fats, because especially if they are having like low hormone production, there's ways to tell that. Then I always manipulate the carbs last. So I'll always protein first. Protein is always the easiest to find. Then I go with the fats, because I want to make sure they're getting a certain amount of fats, because that's going to mess up the hormone production if they're too low. And then carbohydrates are the ones that I kind of just manipulate depending on what they like. Maybe they're a person who likes more of the carbohydrates, or maybe they're a person who likes more fats, less carbohydrates. Hey, so it's more personal preference, but there's always like a guideline for me when it comes to how much fat a person should be taking because of the hormone production. Okay, so the other nutrient, probably I'm not gonna say everybody's favorite, but Some people's favorite is alcohol. So I'm not a very big alcohol drinker. I would drink one alcoholic beverage every once in a great while, usually because of a special occasion or just because we went out to dinner. You know, we haven't had one in a very long time. Usually it's more like a wine type deal. I'm not saying that's any healthier because to me, alcohol is alcohol. Okay. So alcohol is a toxin for the body. I don't care how you feel about it, is a toxin to the body. So what does that mean? That means it's kind of like, what's the best way to put it? It's kind of like an ambulance, right? So digesting it is kind of like an ambulance going onto the freeway in a traffic jam. So it's trying to make its way through, but there's something stopping it. Alcohol in this case. This ambulance can't get through because alcohol just stops all the movement. So that's why I have here affects hormones and cellular waste. So what I mean by that is whatever your body was going to get rid of and distinguish is now recycled back into your bloodstream. So everything that was going to go out now is at a standstill, at a pause, and now it's recycled back in because the main focus now is to get that ambulance through the traffic. Okay, so with that being said, your body's main focus is to get rid of the alcohol because it's toxic to your body. So as soon as that's out of your system, which takes, depends on how much you drink, obviously takes a few hours to maybe a whole day, then your body will go back to normal functioning. And that's why people tend to start to get the beer guts, right? The beer belly and the midsection weight gain is because everything that you were going to excrete and get rid of is now being recycled back into. Obviously, with alcohol consumption comes more eating, which again slows down digestion, which affects protein, okay, which protein is a huge thing. So now your body is no longer in protein synthesis. Now it's just kind of like more in the rest and digest because alcohol is depressant and not in a good way, right? So that's why it's not ideal to be consuming a lot of alcohol, and that's why I put you should be limited. So if you're the type of person like, you know what, Tomas, I respect everything you're saying, I'll take those consequences, but I had to have a drink, you know, once a week. Okay, perfect, cool. Once a week, that's kind of tolerable. And then it also depends on how much. If you're like, I'm gonna go all out, like I'm the all or nothing person, I'm gonna get blasted drunk. Best suggestion for you then is, okay, cool. If that's what you want to do, the next day you're gonna fast all day. Like nothing to eat, just drink water. Replenish everything that you're hindering now, right? So there's ways you can do it. There's ways you can make alcohol work, but for me, in general health and the purpose of this video, I would say it's best to just be every once in a great while or not at all if you can do that. Okay, so we can get more into that in a different video. So let's get into meals, our last of the M's. So we went through the mindset, we went through the macros, now we're gonna get into the meals. So I went on to Google the best professor there is, and I found this picture. I think it's very, very helpful so you guys can see it's how to build your plate. So on the left-hand side, there's all the fruits and vegetables, mainly vegetables though. Okay, that should be majority of your plate. Then at the top, you got your protein. Okay, and then at the bottom, we got our starchy carbohydrates, which we learned are our complex carbs. Okay, so meals, creating a healthy meal. Okay, so obviously, number one, we're going to prioritize lean protein. So between 3 to 8 ounces. Okay, so I also gave you guys measurements on how to do that if you don't have a food scale. But if you really want to be precise and you're really serious, definitely get you a food scale. But if you don't have one, in the meantime, you're going to use the palm of your hand. Okay, or a deck of cards is what other people say. Usually if you're a guy, it's both hands, both palms. Okay, so your palm is this region right here. You can see how big it is in proportion to your serving size. You're going to choose a veggie or two. Okay, cruciferous is ideal. So these are like your spinach, your kale, your arugula, your cauliflower, things that are not super starchy, that have a lot of micronutrients in them, which are like the vitamins and minerals, higher in fiber. Okay, you usually want to go with your leafy green vegetables because those are like the most healthiest for you. One serving is 85 grams typically. Okay, so that's about 2 handfuls. So grab 2 handfuls, throw it on there. And again, that'll make up about 50% of your plate. Focus on the complex carbs. So in this illustration, they're using starchy vegetables. Why? Because they are higher in fiber, which again, us as Americans, we don't get enough fiber. Okay, ladies, you should try to aim for about 20 to 30 grams of fiber every day to start out. Guys, it's about, we'll say about 25 to 40 grams every single day. I do not suggest that you increase your fiber without increasing your water intake, because you'll definitely be bloated and you'll be gassy, just to be real. So increase your fiber, also increase your water. Complex carbs also help with slower insulin release. So if you're the type of person who just consumes a whole pound of rice in that one sitting, and then after 30 minutes to an hour, you're like, man, bro, I'm ready to take a nap. Like, when I eat carbohydrates, I'm just ready to just die down. Typically, that's because you have such a high insulin spike. Okay, so if you eat more complex carbs, and of course it comes with balance too, not just pounding a whole 2 cups of rice, especially if you fasted like all morning and lunch is your first meal and you just pound 2 cups of rice right there. Well, yeah, you had nothing to combat the insulin, so it's just raised up super high. And protein also raises insulin, so you're really done for it. Okay, so have moderation, plan out your meals appropriately. So how to measure those out is the size of your fist. Okay, so make a fist, and that should be about the size of your complex carb. And then cooking healthy fats. So if you're cooking in high temperatures, so like over 350 degrees Fahrenheit for me, then you're going to use avocado oil. So if like you're frying things, avocado oil. You try to fry things in extra virgin olive oil, it's not going to come out the same. Okay, extra virgin olive oil is more for low temp, so 350 and below, maybe 375. I'm not a chef, but I think it's somewhere around there. Use grass-fed butter. Grass-fed butter adds less calories because in both of those oils, it's 140 calories for one serving, whereas grass-fed butter, you get 100 calories in one serving. Butter usually makes things a little bit more tastier, a little bit more creamier, so use butter where it's needed. Make sure it's grass-fed. I'm not talking country crock or whatever one that's made of soybean oil. It's not even butter. It's soybean oil, right? So use real butter, grass-fed butter, and that should be about the size of your thumb. If you don't have a measuring tool, about the size of your thumb. Okay, so recap. Protein, about the palm of your hands. Guys, usually it's about 2. Okay, your vegetables should be 2 handfuls. Okay, the size of your complex carbs is about your fist. And then your oils or fats should be about your thumbs. This includes like your almonds and stuff too. Okay, but also, again, that's how to build a plate. It also depends on your diet and what you're trying to accomplish too. But just for healthy overall purposes, that's a good illustration. Okay, so some meals and macros pro tips as we conclude this first video. So obviously protein's number 1. Ideally, 1.6 grams to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. So what you are going to do is you are going to take your body weight right now. You're going to divide that into 2.2, and that's going to give you your weight in kilograms. From there, you're going to take that number, which is your weight in kilograms, and you're going to multiply it by 1.6. However, whatever number you get is how many grams at the minimum you should be having every single day. Okay, the 2 grams is the maximum you should be having every day. But again, this is going to vary. If you're a bodybuilder, if you're a pro athlete, that's going to vary. But I'm just talking about just general health in this sense. Okay, so for me, I usually aim for more than 2 grams-ish region. So that's be your ideal protein. Your carbs and fats, those are going to fluctuate. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, when it comes to making clients' plans, I make sure they always have a certain percentage of the calories going to come from their fat, because that messes up your hormone production. Okay, so carbs is always the first one you're either going to increase or you're going to decrease after you figure out your protein and your fats amounts. So those can fluctuate. Okay, so again, it just depends on your lifestyle. Maybe you are more of a carbohydrate eater, not so much of a fat eater. So you just get the bare minimum that you need to not affect the hormones, and then you can just increase your carbohydrates or protein if you're trying to keep it leaner. Okay, obviously when it comes to carbs, you want the more fibrous, complex. You shouldn't be snacking on gummy bears and Twizzlers and stuff like that, right? So eat the more healthier versions of foods. Avoid/limit. So big pro tip, don't drink your calories. Unless you're trying to put on some size, and again, I'm not saying that's the best way, just don't drink your calories, right? So if you know that you want to have this baked potato for dinner, but you're also having a 12-ounce Coke with 140 calories and about 60 grams of it is sugar, you probably don't want that because now you're just doing double carbs. Now you're having potato and sugar. So again, you're overdoing it. So don't drink your calories. If you're gonna have a pop, have 0 calorie or a diet pop. Okay, that's between you. Again, I'm not here to discredit diet sodas and aspartame and stuff like that. That's between you. Okay, pick your poison type of deals. My mindset. Avoid dyes. Red dye, blue dye, yellow dye. So look for that in your food labels. They're usually at the bottom. Say red dye 40, blue whatever, yellow bingo, whatever the case is. Avoid those because you don't want those dyes in your food. And unhealthy oils. So there's a laundry list of them, but here's most of them: canola oil, palm oil, safflower oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil. Okay, I guarantee you right now, something that you have at your house has one of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in them. Okay, it's almost impossible to get away from, which is unfortunate. It's just in about every single thing that we eat. But if you can find substitutes of foods that you like cooked in avocado oil or extra virgin olive oil or coconut oil, those are the ones that you want. You don't want these oils because these oils, as we're starting to learn, really stick with you for a long time. And it's really true. In that case, you are what you eat. So these things can actually change the molecules of your DNA, as we're starting to learn. I'm not very familiar with the science, but based on things that I've been seeing, it makes sense to me, right? So those are some things to avoid. All right. Okay. So guys, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I know we're running about 50 minutes. Definitely love teaching you guys. I hope this was informative. I hope you learned something from it, whether you learned about nutrition before or whether you're a little bit more experienced with nutrition. I hope that this was just a recap for you. And I hope that these tips definitely help you too. So again, basic nutrition, the 3 M's for us in this video was your mindset. Okay, have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset, the all or nothing mindset, because it's nice when you're all, but it's bad when you fail because you're also all failure too. Okay, so mindset is very, very important. Perspective is key to everything that we do, whether that's nutrition or just life in general. Okay, the second one was our macros. So I taught you guys about our proteins, the fats, the carbohydrates. Okay, broke down the calories, broke down the importance of them. And then lastly, we ended with a meal, like how to create your meal, how to create your plate. Again, it's just for general overall health. It's going to vary based on your goals and what you're trying to do for your body. Okay, so again, I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments what else you guys want to see. Is there anything specific with nutrition you would love to learn more about? Let me know because, hey, I just might make a video on it. So if we can get enough of it, I just might make a video. So again, this is Tomas Ramirez from Positive Against Training. This was Impact Beyond the Weights. This March, we are talking about nutrition. And again, you guys are awesome. Have a great day. God bless.